Okay, so hi, my name is Brian, also known as Darkly Dreaming. Um, Normally, I would cover horror content or movies and figures and movies and stuff. This is actually probably my first real video that I'm going to upload to YouTube. That's just me talking about a subject, and the subject is not horror at all. It's the recent trailer drop for Masters of the Universe. Now, I am a huge He-Man and the Masters of the Universe fan. I have been since I was, a 7-year-old little kid who got his first action figure. And, the first stories of He-Man that I knew were the mini comics. Uh, and saying I'm a huge He-Man fan, I'm nowhere near Pixel Dan level, but I do love the property. I do love the IP. I love Masters of the Universe. And as I've heard a lot of complaints about some of the things that have been in the new trailer about Man at Arms and Roboto looking not like Roboto and maybe He-Man. And look, I'm going to say, as a person who has loved this franchise for years, I've collected from being a kid the original Mattel figures onto the 2000X figures and the Origins figures, the Masterverse figures. I might even pick up the Mondo figures for the 2000X because they look amazing. Hey, I liked Revelation and Revolution, the Kevin Smith Netflix things. I didn't love the Revelation, but I liked it, and I certainly understand that was the progression of the story the way it should have been, with Tila becoming the new sorceress. And so I understood the focus being on her. You have to focus on her becoming the new sorceress to get to the further adventures of He-Man and Adam. So I was okay with all that. I'm not one of these people that hated and downed it all. I liked it. And so when I found out that we were going to get a new live action movie, you got to remember, my memory stretches back to seeing Dolph Lundgren in a movie theater, seeing him play He-Man and Frank Langella, who was an amazing Skeletor. But that movie, for all intents and purposes, even though it's one of those cult classics, so bad it's good movies that you watch now, at the time, it was just a bad movie. It sucked. It did not really represent He-Man. Now, given hindsight, I saw that there were elements from the mini comics and things that they were using and stuff for Dolph Lundgren's movie, having Prince Adam not even being a thing, or King Randor, any of that stuff. But at the time, when you grow up with the Filmation cartoon, you kind of expect that version of He-Man. So that movie, for all intents and purposes, was never going to reach the right audience. So once again, finding out we're going to get a new live action Masters of the Universe movie, I was skeptical. I mean, I didn't really follow closely, but I saw enough to see that it had passed through studio after studio. Sony had it at one point. Noah Centineo had been cast as Adam and He-Man, and which honestly, I'm glad that didn't happen. No offense to Mr. Centineo, he doesn't have those vibes to me. So when I was hearing about this, and then the casting of Jared Leto, which honestly, despite who Jared Leto is as a person and whatever accusations have been thrown his way, I can somewhat respect him as actor. I think he genuinely does inhabit the roles that he takes on, even though the Joker was a horrible, horrible idea. Are you listening, Warner Brothers? That was bad. Bad. If that was Zack Snyder's idea, he should be smacked. That was just wrong. No good. But anyway, I fully had confidence that Jared Leto could do a decent job as Skeletor. Um, the rest of the cast, I mean, look, Man at Arms, you're going to get Idris Elba to play Man at Arms. I mean, honestly, other than skin color, if you were to stand him next to the Filmation version of Man at Arms, I mean, he's a clone. pretty close. I had no problem with that. Does it? Does some of the casting kind of scream of diversity casting? Possibly, but in today's media and Hollywood, I guess those are just boxes you have to kind of tick, and I don't see any problem with it with the casting. The casting so far is all good. I wasn't very familiar with Mr. Galatine, I believe his name is, who's playing Adam in He-Man. I wasn't very familiar with him, but once again, I was looking at social media and I was looking at things. I saw that he was bulking up for the role, and that's good. I mean, nobody wants He-Man to look scrawny. He's He-Man. I mean, is anybody going to be Henry Cavill buff? Probably not. But the fact that he was dedicated to putting in the work, that made me comfortable. So the teaser came out yesterday, and it looked awesome. It looked very cool. I was happy seeing Castle Grayskull, seeing what looked like Eternia and the tram or what have you from the Eternia place, as what it looked like to me. It looked a little odd for Castle Grayskull to be so close to everything else when, historically I think it's much farther away from. But regardless, Castle Grayskull looked good. Seeing Zoar the Falcon is amazing. I thought Adam looked good. I mean, I didn't have any real complaints. I was kind of excited. And so then the trailer dropped. And boy, it looks fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong. There are still a few things here or there, nitpicks, but the nitpicks to me are minor. The one thing that I noticed in the whole trailer, and it kind of threw me off a little bit, was when Adam calls forth the power of Grayskull, he does it around a lot of people, so that kind of blows the whole idea of Prince Adam being his cover, and it looks like everybody knows that Adam is going to be He-Man. So that's kind of disappointing, but once again, to me, that's kind of a minor nitpick. I loved seeing Trapjaw, even though he was only on screen for a second. Spikor, Beastman, Fisto, seeing all these characters come to life and really look similar to how they would in the Filmation cartoon and the comics and the action figures. Fabulous. Oh my gosh. I've heard some complaints that the special effects don't look, they're a little, look, they got 5 months to go. They could make a lot of adjustments in 5 months. And honestly, to me, the effects in that trailer looked better than the last few Marvel movies, to be honest with you. I'm excited. Like, as a Masters of the Universe fan, for the first time in a lot of years, I'm excited for a live action He-Man. This could be really awesome. I know there are a lot of kids out there who they didn't grow up with it like I did. So this is a different property. But if they market this right and they're able to get the kids in there, we could be seeing a whole new generation of Masters of the Universe fans. And as a person who loves multiple fandoms, I mean, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. So I would personally believe that some of the very best IPs, some of the best characters and stories, you got Transformers, you got Thundercats, you got He-Man, G.I. Joe, Silverhawks. I mean, you had such a variety of great stories that came out of that period. and a lot of them have so much depth. You got Voltron, which I know there's a movie with Henry Cavill in it coming out. I'm not sure when, but I know they're done filming. So to see Voltron in live action, that's going to be amazing. Like, as a child who grew up in the 70s and 80s, this is awesome for me to see those things that I loved coming back to life and coming to live action. I could only hope they do Silverhawks at some point, but right now I don't have any complaints about it. Other than, like I said, it seems like everybody knows Adam is He-Man right off the bat. That kind of breaks the Filmation lore a little bit, but it doesn't bother me that much. I'm just excited to see it. He-Man is one of those, Masters of the Universe. This is one of those few properties that if I hear something from it, it gives me instant goosebumps. And hearing By the Power of Grayskull, I Have the Power, instant goosebumps. So I have high hopes for this, and I hope everybody who watches this, go watch that trailer and watch it with an open mind and an open heart and give it a chance. Because if you're a fan of Masters of the Universe, so far this is as good as it's going to get live action wise. Now, I mean, I can always hope in my heart of hearts that someday someone will do a Game of Thrones style TV show that harkens back to the story from the mini comics. That would be amazing. But to see this version of He-Man done this well, in my opinion, it gives me hope that we're going to see some good stuff in the future. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy's gone. Maybe they can fix Star Wars. I can hope. But if you watch this, leave a like, subscribe if you want to, share it if you liked it, and everybody just have a great day and check out some great content, and look forward to June 5th, because I think this is going to be a good one. Thanks. Bye.